So, hi, Charlie Alpha Steve back again for part two. This again is about training school. It's one of those things that you're glad you did it, but you'd rather not do it ever again. So, as with most things, although most of us were very young, in our early 20s, there were one or two ex-services guys that come in and join the police. And they were a bit older, in their sort of 30s, 40s. That to us then was pretty old. And we'd been there for, let me see, I don't know, I think it was about 6 weeks. And what happens every 6 weeks, you get a fresh batch. So we were well and truly established. We, in our element, knew what was coming, quite comfortable. And a new batch of people arrived. Well, we decided that we were going to have a bit of fun with them, because when they all turn up, they're all sort of out of their depth and wet behind the ears, as it were. So we decided we were going to play some jokes. So we managed to get hold of, don't ask me where from, we managed to get hold of an inspector's jacket with the pips on the shoulder. And one of the guys in our group was an older person, and he had a beard and he looked very refined and distinguished, unlike the rest of us. And we decided to dress him up as an inspector. And one of the other lads went round to all of the new recruits, knocked on the door in his uniform and said, "Oh look, there's a parade in the meeting room down there. I want you all in uniform." This was about 10 o'clock at night. I mean, most of these lads were in bed, half asleep. So we got them all into the meeting room, and then one of the guys shouts, "Attention!" And so everyone gets up and stands to attention. And our mate comes in looking 100% like an inspector with his flat cap on and his pips on his shoulders. And he had some glasses on. And we didn't know, but there was no glass in glasses. But you couldn't tell. And he gave this speech to the new people. And he finished it off. During the speech, he actually went to rub his eye and he put his finger through where the glass should be. And nobody really picked up that there was no glass in them, but we did. And anyway, after keeping them in there for about half an hour, talking about all sorts of nonsense, he said, "Oh yes, and finally, beware of the senior class. They're a bunch of idiots and I'm one of them." And with that, he turned and walked out. And all of the recruits sat there looking at each other, and gradually it dawned on them that they'd been hoodwinked. A little bit later down the road, one of them decided that he was going to get his own bag on the guy that had pretended he was an inspector by hiding in his cupboard and jumping out on him. But unfortunately, there was a last minute inspection, and when he did jump out onto the commandant, which was hilarious. Needless to say, there were repercussions, but highly amusing. So that was part two of training school. The passing out parade was quite nice. I remember that. We had to do a gymnastics display where we were doing various things, tumbling and climbing ropes and jumping over things. And they paired me up. I'm not massive, but they paired me up with a girl that I joined up with called Debbie, and we were a team. And they tried to do it, boy girl where possible, showing that it's a progressive police force. And so they did this thing. They said, right, okay, we're now going to do this thing called tractor wheels. And what happened was you had to grab each other's ankles with both hands. So each of you was holding on to the other's ankles. One of you is upside down. This is how it starts. And then you're supposed to roll forward, and then they roll over, and then you roll over, and it's all supposed to be real spectacular. But it didn't quite work out like that with me and Debbie, and I spent most of my time poking my nose where I shouldn't have done, and I couldn't help it. It was an absolute catastrophe. But nevertheless, apologies Debbie. We got through it and somehow managed to pass out. And then once you passed out, you would then go and do another 2 weeks, I think it was, at Maidstone headquarters. And you'd be then talking about local issues and where you were to be stationed. So another short one from the memory banks. I'd rather not go back there, but there you go. It's something that has been done and it is over. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I know it's not terribly exciting probably for many of you, but there it is. Charlie Alpha, Steve, over and out. See you next time. God bless.